my friends, so we are in chapter 5 now of the book of John, and I'll go ahead and just get started. So, after this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue, Bethesda, having 5 porches. And there lay a great multitude of impotent folk, blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool, troubled the water, and whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. And Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time in that case. And he said unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? So see, he asked a question, then you got to respond. Okay, so the impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool. But while I'm coming, trying to get in, another steps down before me. Jesus said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made whole. He took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, Is it the Sabbath day? Is it not lawful for thee to carry thy bed? And he answered them, He said that he that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is this which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? And he said, That was healed, which not who it was. He didn't know who it was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. So, afterward Jesus found him in the temple and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon thee. And the men departed and told the Jews that it was Jesus which made him whole. And therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. But Jesus answered them, My Father works, therefore I work. Therefore the Jews, so it's okay to work on Sunday, okay? And therefore the Jews, if you're doing a good thing, Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal to God. Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For the things whatsoever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. And the Father loveth the Son, and showed him all things that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. For as the Father raiseth up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son quicketh whom he will. And the Father judged no man, committed all judgment unto the Son, that men shall honor the Son even as they honor the Father. He that honored not the Son honored not the Father which hath sent him. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth on him that sent me hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. So verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, that the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they shall hear and live. And they do, and they come. Many came out of their graves when Jesus went after his death, into hell, and asked who would want to be raised up again and live. So, for as the Father had life in him, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself, and hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth. But they have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of my Father which hath sent me. If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. is another that beareth witness of me, and I know that this witness, which is he witness of me, is true. You sent unto John, and he bare witness unto the truth. But I received not testimony from man, but these things I say, that ye may be saved. He was a burning and a shining light, and ye were willing for a season to rejoice in his light. But I have greater witnesses than that of John, for the works which the Father hath given me to finish, the same works that I do, bear witness of me, and the Father that hath sent me. And the Father himself which hath sent me hath borne witness of me. You have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape, and ye have not his word abiding in you. For whom he hath sent, him ye believe not. Search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, but they are which testify of me. For ye will not come to me, that ye may have life. I receive not honor from men, for I know you, that you have not the love of God in you. I am come into my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receiveth honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from God only? Do you think that I will accuse you to the Father? There is one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. And if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Chapter 6. After these things, Jesus went over to the Sea of Galilee, which is in the Sea of Tiberias. A great multitude followed him, because they saw his miracles, which he did on them and that were diseased. And Jesus went up into the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. And the Passover, a feast of Jews, was near. When Jesus then lifted up his eyes and saw a great company come unto him, he said unto Philip, When shall we buy bread, that these may eat? And he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of his disciples, Andrew Simon, Peter's brother, said unto him, There's a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves, 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? So Jesus said, Make the men to sit down, and there was a lot of grass in the place. So the men sat down in number of about 5,000. That's a lot of grass. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were sat down. Likewise, of the fishes as much as they would. Then they were filled, and he said unto the disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together, and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. Now these men that they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, This is of the truth and the prophet that should come into the world. When Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone. When even was now come, his disciples went down to the sea. They entered into a ship and went over to the sea towards Capernaum. And it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. And the sea rose by the reason of great wind that blew. So when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near into the ship, and they were afraid. And he said unto them, It is I, be not afraid. And when willingly he received them into the ship, and immediately the ship was at land, whither they went. The day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save the one that were within his disciples were entered, that Jesus went not with his disciples into the boat, but that the disciples were gone away alone. Howbeit there came another boat from Tiberias near unto the place where they did eat bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum seeking for Jesus. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, whence comest thou hither? Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, you seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perishes, but for the meat that endures unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath God the Father sealed. When they said unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of God? Jesus answered and said unto them, This is the work of God, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. They said therefore unto him, What sign showeth thou then that we may see that we believe thee? What dost thou work? Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, He gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father gave it you the true bread from heaven. And the bread of God is he that cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger. He that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I say unto you, that you also have seen me, and believeth not. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me. Him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out. For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will, which had sent me, that of all that he had given me I shall lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one that seeth the Son believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. The Jews then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which come down from heaven. And they said, Is this not Jesus the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? Now it is then that he saith, I came down from heaven? Jesus therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up on the last day. It is written in the prophets that they shall be taught of God. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me. Not that any man hath seen the Father, save he which is of God. He hath seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me has everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. The Jesus therefore strove among themselves, saying, How can this man give us his flesh to eat? Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whosoever eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat, and indeed my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth of my flesh and drinketh of my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. And as the living Father hath sent me, I live by the Father, so he eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is the bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna that are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. These things saith he in the synagogue that he taught at Capernaum. And I'm going to stop right there. I will continue on my next video. Okay, thank you. Love you guys. Bye-bye.